Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another exciting edition of Pardon Our Picks, where perfection is a work in progress. I'm your host, Sam. As always, with me is my esteemed co-host, the Orange Bomber, Tarik. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. Had a good Thanksgiving week. Played some football. Watched some football. I'm ready for some more. How about you, buddy?
Same. Played some football with you. Ate some good food, and it was a good week. Of course, with us as always is Football Jesus. How you doing tonight?
Feeling great. At least the hair sticks with me, unlike the Orange Bombers missing his orange tonight.
I'm thinking he's laid that to rest. How bad that team's done.
Yeah, it's not. Orange may be my favorite color, but I ain't showing support for that right now.
Yeah. And then, of course, the QB coach, Jessica. How you doing tonight?
I'm all right. I'm excited to play some Zelda there. So
she has just discovered the beauty of Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say she just discovered like the NES.
Oh no.
Funny enough, I just put my NES out. It's literally sitting out now. I found it in the box.
I play the simulator on the Switch, so
It's okay. Actually, you can probably see some of the games behind me. But that's neither here nor there. That is in the past, as is probably the prospects of Zach Wilson starting in the league. So what do you guys think? You guys think that were they premature? You think he's going to get his job back? What do you think?
I'm going to say that he's lost his job right now because when he was injured, Joe Flacco outperformed him. And when he got benched for not taking the blame for the offense getting like 2.8 inches of total yards against the New England Patriots, Mike White came in and played absolutely phenomenally last week. Now, we have seen Mike White do this before in the past, and he has kind of come back down to earth as the more games he starts happens. So remains to be seen if Mike White is the starter for the Jets going forward, but I don't see Zach Wilson getting the start. He may come in relief. So we'll see.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think right now it's Mike White's job to lose, which he very well may do, but he has come in multiple times now and outperformed Zach Wilson. This week, he, really put on a show against the Chicago Bears, had, I think, 300 and some yards passing. He had a great game. In my opinion, though, if Zach Wilson is not the man of the future for them, or if they are in the run for the playoffs, which they are, if Mike White is to lose this job because he has poor performance, I'm of the opinion that the veteran who also performed well should be put in there instead of Zach Wilson. So in my opinion, he is the third in line.
yeah. I mean, this is one of those where, hey, I agree. I mean, it's who keeps him in. I mean, unless you're like the Denver Broncos organization and want to keep Russell Wilson in.
No, he was going to bring it up.
It's a bad year.
I'm not bitter.
Wilson.
I'm not bitter. But yeah, I think he's gone. I mean, you had, as they've already, my co-hosts have already said, two other quarterbacks have already outplayed him, have already proven what can be done, and he's not doing it. So even just from a just basic tactical football standpoint, he shouldn't be there. So
yeah, I don't think he should start for the rest of the year. I mean, obviously the other two, unless White really bombs and Joe Flacco looks his age, I don't think he should play for the rest of the year. I think, however, he may end up getting Josh Rosen treatment, where he gets traded after only being Josh Rosen. For anybody who doesn't know, got traded after his first year with the Cardinals, and he has done nothing since.
Well, he got the short end of the stick, but that's a conversation for another time.
He did, but he really was a bad quarterback anyway. I don't think he was a good quarterback. I don't think he would have panned out just about anywhere. I think that Zach Wilson maybe gets traded in the offseason to somebody who can mold him a bit better. Perhaps even the Panthers. Who knows? What do you guys think? You guys think he gets traded in the offseason?
I don't know if they're that quick.
I honestly do. I mean, I think the Jets, they have enough draft capital. They have enough, financial capital to where they could make a splash if a guy like Aaron Rodgers is available. Now, granted, I've been low on him this season, but I mean, if the Jets make that move and in the offseason, they immediately become a powerhouse in that division. So I think it's possible as long as the price is right. Because I mean, right now, sure, he hasn't performed well, but he's on a cheap contract, and that's always a bargaining chip to have a quarterback on a cheap contract.
Predicting the Aaron Rodgers goes the Favre route, huh?
I do, because they've got a good enough team to surround him with talent, unlike the Green Bay Packers.
Even if they surround him with talent, he is always injured. Always in some way. So his poor performance somehow always goes back to that. And he's just getting older. Like
That's just that's like the Ben Roethlisberger thing, though. Every time he would start, he's got a bruised ego, he's got a limp.
Yeah, but Ben
wrist.
Roethlisberger would play, as much as I hate to say it, he would play through some severe injuries and still play pretty well. Aaron
Except
Rodgers,
when he crashed his motorcycle.
yeah,
Or allegedly did bad things. Oh.
yeah.
We'll talk about that later in the broadcast.
That one
Another
thing that they
quarterback.
all seem to get away with in the NFL. Speaking of, Deshaun Watson comes back this week.
That's true. That's true. And that's going to be weird. We are brought to you by Aardvark Concepts Incorporated, by the way. They are one of our two sponsors. They are more than just a sign shop. And In Too Deep, catch them on December 2nd at Throw Social down in DC, starting at 7 p.m. Should be a good show. So, especially if you're in the DC area, be a fun thing to do on a Friday. So,
in case our million fans didn't know the general area we are located in, we are in the Mid-Atlantic
yes,
area of the country.
general area. Yeah. Speaking of where everybody's at, let's take a look at where we're at in the standings.
I did that so professionally.
And Jessica with the big comeback, tying me for the lead. Brady creeping up.
As I said to Tarik earlier today, I'm going to quote one of my favorite Adam Sandler movies. Somebody's closer.
This much.
Hey, all it takes is a couple games here and there.
Yes, but I'd also have to keep losing.
He does have enough weeks if he gets one on you every week to catch and pass you.
Yeah.
So he's going to keep that in mind. Well, every single one of us, we've all passed the 100 game mark for wins. So
I didn't hear what Jess said.
I was going to quote the Lion King and say, "Stick with me and you'll never go hungry again."
Thanks, Scar.
So
So
I've confirmed
you're
that Jess
shaking.
is the villain of this broadcast, like I was last year.
I will take it.
wow,
And I will take that trophy.
that's rough. I mean, you could absolutely beat me this year. I'm not saying it won't happen, but let's get on to the games of the week. Let's start with football Jesus. Football Jesus, give us that gospel.
Oh, man. Well, we just talked about Zach Wilson and those New York Jets, so I have to go with the New York Jets going to Minnesota to play the Vikings. And this game really stuck out to me for a few reasons. This is one of the few very first playoff clinching scenarios for the Vikings. If they win, and of course, a couple other things happen, they could clinch a playoff berth this weekend with a win.
Wow.
But the Jets are only one game really behind the division leader. So if the Jets can pull out a victory in Minnesota and Miami and Buffalo lose, they could wind up in that first place in the division, leapfrogging in the standings. And as we mentioned before, Zach Wilson is not the starter, but I forget their coach's name. Robert Saleh has said it's an open competition for the quarterback, but we all know it's really a two-horse race with one that's waiting to be taken behind the woodshed. So I see a lot of interesting things in this game. I mean, Justin Jefferson is arguably the best wide receiver in the league this year. Sauce Gardner, the rookie cornerback for the Jets, is probably going to be following him around the field all game, and he has been absolutely lights out this year. Shades of Darrell Revis in that kid already. So I see this being a very ground and pound heavy game for both teams. I know the Vikings have Adam Thielen and Dalvin Cook, who's really good catching passes out of the backfield. And the Jets just recently lost another running back to injury, so they're going to be starting a rookie and potentially James Robinson going in this week. But I see the run game being very crucial for both teams this week, and just on the fact that the Vikings have Dalvin Cook, I'm going with the Vikings this week in a very close game because I think the Jets have heart without Zach Wilson at quarterback.
I'm actually going to go ahead and agree with a lot of what you said, Brady. And I'm also, did you say you're going with the Jets though?
No, I'm going
The
with Vikings.
Okay. I am going with the Vikings as well. I think it's going to be a close game. And I'm really excited to see Sauce and Jefferson matched up because Sauce has done really well covering like Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase, he's really shut down them as offensive weapons. And I'm excited to see how he does this week. But, the offensive weapons on the Vikings are a little bit more strong, a little healthier right now, all around as a team. And I'm going to go ahead and side with you. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be like a 26-23 Minnesota.
Yeah, I like that both of these teams kind of have something to fight for here. It's not one of these plethora of other games we got that just one team's got everything and one team's got nothing. They're just playing to play and playing for pride. But you got the Vikings who just played a little bit more consistently. I mean, you look at the records, they're 2 games up. They have a little bit more going for them. The Jets, just as we've already discussed with this quarterback debacle, and then you got the running backs. I was getting ready to mention that Brady brought up. So if running's coming down to it, I mean, who knows what this rookie's really going to be able to do? He hasn't had a whole lot of carries this year. So we'll see. I'm agreeing with everything the other two have said. I'm going with the Vikings.
This game is an example of the way the NFL wants things to happen. Neither of these teams were very good last year. The Jets obviously have not been good for a while. The Vikings were middling. They were just outside the playoff picture last year. Look at them. They're at 9-2 this year, leading their division. The Jets have a chance to lead their division. This is what the NFL is supposed to be about. This is what they want it to be about, parity from year to year. Every team has a chance. I like this matchup. And I like the name Sauce Gardner. I'm not going to lie. That name is just amazing.
It is.
It's an old school football name. And
That
I
man
love it.
covers everything.
That kid is so good.
Mm-hmm.
It does sound like someone that he should be wearing like a leather helmet or like one of the ones without the face mask, just smoking a cigarette, ready to just like punch the lineman in the face and keep going.
I mean, he's ready made to get endorsements. So
he will 100% be signed by Frank's Red Hot by the time the season's over.
Absolutely. Given that, though, the running game of the Vikings good. The running game of the Jets has not picked up. But you know who on the Jets has been really good recently? Garrett Wilson. That receiver has been catching the ball. He's been making plays. He's fast. He's elusive. He's tough to cover. I think the Vikings don't blow anybody out. So this game is going to be close no matter what. I have the Vikings winning. I think it's going to be in the low 30s, though. So Vikings for the victory.
I love how we're also excited about this game because of one cornerback.
Yeah, one matchup.
Like, it doesn't matter who else is covering anybody else or who else is playing. It's the fact that we have arguably the best corner going against the best wide receiver. And there's going to be a camera on them at all times throughout this game, and I can't wait.
Yeah. All right, let's get on to the next game of the week. Our QB coach, Jessica, what's your game of the week?
So I have, again, the 49ers against the Miami Dolphins. I am like on this 49ers hype train right now. It's exciting. I really like it. But anyway, Jimmy G and the 49ers, their offense is kind of middle tier right now, whereas Miami's offense is really a powerhouse, especially Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. Absolutely phenomenal. So it's going to be interesting to see one of the other great cornerbacks try and cover and hopefully reduce the effects of Tyreek Hill in this game, opening up more, hopefully, fantasy points for me with Jalen Waddle. There's also some key injuries here. So, two major offensive line injuries for Miami, which really worries me for them because San Francisco's D is phenomenal. Like they are fun to watch. Nick Bosa and company absolutely need to take advantage of that. Make sure they're rushing the quarterback, try and get some sacks, and make him make mistakes because he absolutely will. One of the other injuries I am concerned about, McCaffrey will be limited. He'll be playing, but he is nursing a knee injury. And one of the other things that's kind of interesting is Mike McDaniels is the old offensive coordinator for San Francisco. So he knows what to expect, which means Kyle Shanahan really needs to mix things up here. I don't see him necessarily doing as much as he should. I think some of it's going to be a little predictable to Mike McDaniels, but these two teams have won quite a bit. They're on a streak here. Miami's won like 5 of their last games. San Francisco's like 7 of their last 8 or 6 of their last 7 or something. But San Francisco is still not allowing points in the second half. This game, I am taking San Francisco. I think it's going to be very close, less than 3 points for sure. Low scoring game, under 30 points for each team. So I guess maybe not low scoring, but Sam, I thought you were holding something. It's a stocking. Sorry. I do think that the record that, or the streak that they are on right now with not allowing second half points for San Francisco is going to end. I do think Miami will score in the second half, but at the end of it will come down to the last few plays, and San Francisco will come away with this one.
I mean, you covered all bases on that one. Things I knew, things I didn't know. So I really have nothing extra special to add or anything. I was just trying to add and find any. I'm trying to Google stuff on the side, see if I can add anything just to say. I pretty much agree. Who did you end up picking, Jess?
San Francisco.
San Francisco. Good, because that's who I picked. I think San Francisco's gonna go with it, and this is a very interesting matchup. Miami has been surprisingly good, and to me, from my perspective, especially with the addition of Tyreek Hill. Yeah, Jimmy G and San Francisco always, even if they're not at the top, they look pretty good. But I agree with Jess that San Francisco is going to come away with this.
And I do want to note that one of the keys that Kyle Shanahan has to do is keep Jimmy G playing safe, consistent football. Because if they try to do too much with their offense, because of Miami's high scoring offense, it's going to be a problem.
She does make a compelling argument, doesn't she?
Mm-hmm.
It is a toss up, though. This is going to be a close game.
I agree, though. I mean, I think this is more of a toss up than, kind of looking at it on paper because, as Jess alluded to, San Francisco's offense has been very meh.
Mm-hmm.
And Miami's offense has been very high powered, very fast, things like that. But San Francisco's defense is the best in the league, in my opinion. So having those two things come together, a slow moving offense on the same team as a very good, if not the best defense, with a high powered offense and a very middle of the road kind of defense, I really see this as kind of a game as like, who's going to blink first? Who's going to make the first mistake? Who's going to forget to cover Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle? Who's going to let Deebo Samuel get a 30-yard run or Christian McCaffrey out of the backfield for 25 or something like that to really kind of swing the momentum in one team's favor? I really went back and forth on this one. I'm going with San Francisco just based on the fact that I think Miami's going into San Francisco. So that's the only thing I've got to add. But I mean,
I agree it's going to be some momentum shift, but I think that momentum shift is going to be an interception. And the one that's going to get the interception is going to be San Francisco.
Guess we'll see, but this is another one. I'm really glad this is on a later time slot so I can watch this one too.
Yeah. This is a good game. You're looking at two division leaders currently. The San Francisco 49ers lead in the West. The Dolphins lead in the East. They have to travel west to San Francisco to play them in their home stadium. There is there are a couple of other swaps there. There was actually a trade between these two teams at the deadline. Jeff Wilson went from San Francisco to Miami. He's been pretty good as a running back there. I think the fact that his former offensive coordinator that knows how to use him is there. And so far he's performed well. The San Francisco 49ers undoubtedly are a great defense. They are hard to score on in the second half. However, the Dolphins tend to score in the second half. It's hard to keep them from scoring in the second half. This is going to be a close game. It's going to be a tight game. No doubt about it. But I believe, actually, have the Dolphins winning this one, even with their starting left tackle out.
And their
He won't
right
be out for
tackle
the
is
season.
questionable.
Is it?
Yep.
I saw the left tackle was out. I didn't see anything about the right tackle, but
Right tackle is questionable.
if that's the case, I'm still going with the Dolphins. I'm gonna stick with it. I just got a feeling they're gonna win. This one.
It's a toss-up game, though.
It
I
is.
mean,
It
it's
really
a
is.
really good offense, really good defense, and then meh on the other side of the ball for both teams. So
I think we're gonna see why these two teams are leading their division after this week. So, Dolphins for the victory. All right, Orange Bomber, hit us with what you got.
All right. So I probably picked a not good game this week, but I kind of picked it for the trash fire effect almost.
he just wants to be me from last year, guys.
I got to do something to stand out, to be different. So I got Denver and Baltimore. So interesting game for us. We're all in this area. I lived in Denver for a bit. These are my top two teams that I tend to root for. So it's an interesting game for me who to root for here. But this is also just interesting just because the dynamics within the team. So Baltimore has had a habit. The 4 losses they've had on this record, they've all lost in like the last 2 minutes of the game. Probably, if I actually had more information, probably smaller than that. But they keep losing within that last time frame. Denver can't get out of their own way. They have like an average of like 10 points a game. Their highest highest score is 21 points. And that I think was against the Jets. It wasn't, but an interesting point. Baltimore just lost to the Jaguars. One of the few games Denver won is against the Jaguars. Transfer property, Denver wins, but probably most likely not. I'm going with Baltimore, but I mean, there's just so much going on. We got like the head coach just being complete garbage out there. You got Russell Wilson not being what anybody expected and possibly showing his true colors. We got internal drama here in Baltimore with Lamar Jackson and his tweeting and different things like that, and just the secondary not able to stop anybody to score in the fourth quarter. So I think it's going to be interesting. Not quite a game of who's going to lose, but I think it's almost there. I think Baltimore's going to win, but by how much I'm not really sure because again, Denver hasn't put up that many points, but Baltimore keeps giving it up in the half. But I think they're going to be up enough. Hopefully, don't repeat a pattern of 2 scores by the second half and then losing everything.
Yeah, I agree with Tarik. I think this game is really of 2 teams who aren't performing to the level of where anyone expected them. I mean, the Ravens do have a winning record, but still the expectations coming into this season, especially with a high-profile quarterback on a contract year, was that the offense was going to, burn the doors off of the entire league, and it really hasn't against any opponent. And with the Denver Broncos, the offense has been very blah. There's been no spark. There's been no excitement. There's been no nothing, especially considering how much the Broncos have traded away for someone who was arguably a top 5 quarterback in Seattle. So I do see this as a little bit more interesting. I do have Baltimore winning this one because I think the defense of Baltimore is going to come out with something to try and prove, considering in my professional, semi-professional, not professional opinion, it is the defense that let the Baltimore Ravens down last week and not the offense.
I definitely agree.
As for the Broncos, I really think if they want to have a chance in this game, it's not leaning on Russell Wilson. It's leaning on the run game. They released Melvin Gordon, They're going with Latavius Murray as their lead back, who they signed off the Saints practice squad, who has been nothing but a 4-yard plus run machine this year. So if Denver has a chance in this game, it's because they have more rush attempts than pass attempts, but I still have Baltimore in this one by 1 score.
Ooh, Brady, we disagree on one thing. I do not feel that it was the defense that let us down this week. I believe it was the offense that let us down this week. When we get into the red zone that many times and we can't score a touchdown, that is a problem. Had we scored a touchdown, we would have won that game. This offense, it almost like shifted at some point for the Ravens. It was like halfway through the season, or the current season. The offense went from being this powerhouse to sucking, and the defense went from sucking to being pretty decent. I mean, some great defensive plays, some picks. I'm pretty sure we had at least one pick this week, right? Some punch outs, some causing some fumbles. I mean, the defense is hitting their stride at the right time. The offense is falling apart. And the throws by Lamar Jackson lately are absolutely horrendous. Devin Duvernay had his first drop on the season, I think, but his targets as of late have been minor. So if Baltimore can figure out what weapons they should be using and how they should be using them, especially with some of the key injuries like Dobbins being out, our running game was not there this week either. But again, this is the week for them to figure this out. I think that Baltimore is going to take this by at least a touchdown, because this is their week to get it right against a team that really struggles to do anything offensively or defensively, and has so much internal frustration that they're not gonna gel together and have that what is it, like, I don't know,
Cohesion.
you know what I mean? Cohesion, yeah.
Team spirit.
Yeah.
These
no.
are spirit fingers. These are spirit fingers.
But anyway, Baltimore takes this by at least 7 points, and they better score at least 2 touchdowns this game, or I am giving up on this offense. And Lamar needs to stop tweeting crap like that, because he is a professional.
Yeah. That was pretty unprofessional what he did. I don't care how frustrated you are. You got to ignore people. Don't even go on social media if you're a quarterback or somebody who's on a major team like that.
They're mentioning on sports radio this morning. There are a couple other Ravens that are like, I gave it up. They're like deleted Twitter, Instagram.
Even if you respond, even if you say something back, clap back at them, insult them, I'm not saying that's okay, but what he took it to an extreme with what he said. So just be smarter than that, man.
So I'm going to this game. And the last game I went to was the Carolina games, and they won that one. They didn't score much.
Win's a win, man.
This game, I'm wondering if I'm going to see a lot of the same, because the Broncos, the one thing that they do have, even if they don't have a good record, is they got a good defense.
Decent.
Other than one outlier, they haven't had more than 23 points scored on them. It was last week. There was one other outlier. It was the Raiders, who scored 32 on them many weeks ago. But other than that, everything's been 22 and under 20 for the entire season. They've actually had a pretty good defense. They've been holding people to low scores, which is what has kept them in games. Their offense is what's been keeping them out of games. That's their problem. They can't score any points. The most points they scored was 23 points in a loss to the Raiders. It's kind of crazy to see that. Now, the Baltimore Ravens, they got embarrassed. They got pantsed by the Jacksonville Jaguars last week. They're probably very upset about that right now. My guess is they go into this game hot. They are ready to make an example of this team, especially since they have no more room for error. The Bengals are tied for the division lead right now with them, 7-4. It's coming down to it. If right now the Ravens have the tiebreaker because they won one, but they play again later on in the season. So they need to keep winning. They need to keep themselves in the race to win that division and possibly the number 1 seed in the conference, but we'll have to see how that goes. I have the Ravens winning this. I think it's going to be a large margin. I think they get over 30 points like the Raiders did. But there is that possibility that this game is 17 to 13 Ravens. So all right, let's get on to my game of the week. Let's see what we got. We have an NFC East clash. Hi, Sammy.
Hi,
Hey,
Sammy.
everyone.
Somebody is
Sammy.
supposed to be in bed, sleeping. What are you up for?
You joking?
I'm not joking. You should have been in bed a while ago. What are you up for?
Sammy,
I don't know.
pick
don't
who's
know?
going to win this game.
Is it going to be the Washington Commanders or the New York Giants? New York Giants. That's who he picks. And you know what? I'm picking against him. I love you,
Oh my
bud.
Gotta
But,
keep kids down, put them in their place.
I got the Washington Commanders in this one. Wait, do I? I do. I have the Washington Commanders in this game.
7-5 and 7-4.
That's right. The Commanders are 7-5 and the Giants are 7-4. So technically, the 7-4 team has a better record than the 7-5 team.
Yeah.
Sammy, you made the right choice.
It's
No, he
possible.
didn't.
Agrees with you.
It's possible he did, but
I don't know
there's
who
one
picked.
thing
Hold
I
on.
see from the Giants that keeps me from picking them, and that's the fact that most of their receivers are injured. They have Darius Slayton, and that's kind of it right now. Everybody else is hurt. So they're relying on Saquon Barkley, Darius Slayton, and they have been in a little bit of a free fall. They lost to the Cowboys. They lost last week. They're having a hard time scoring those points to win the games. And I think Washington is getting hot right now. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. Let's just get that out of the way. Nobody's scoring more than 25 points in this game, I don't think. But I think Washington comes out. They get the victory. It's going to be close. And it's going to come down to the last possession. So Washington Commanders for the victory.
Well, I obviously disagree. I think it's going to be the New York Giants. Yeah, they didn't play a great game last week, but they did play a really good team and lost to them. And don't get me wrong, the Commanders have shown up in some of these major games lately to, like show up the Eagles, and they looked pretty good. I love the energy that the team seems to have with Heineke. But at the end of the day, I have much less faith in the Commanders than I do the New York Giants right now, even with the injuries. New York really needs to get their offense going. Sammy. And the Giants are going up against one of the better rushing defenses. New York is struggling recently. They are not getting many points in the last several games, but I think that that's not going to be an issue for Washington. At the end of the day, I think it's going to be a close, low-scoring game. 19-15, New York.
I'm going to tell you why Jess is wrong. And I'm going to agree with Elder Samuel. And I'm picking the Washington Commanders. For one, I'm all in on the Heine Brigade and everything that guy is doing. I mean, this team has really come alive since he has taken the starting job for this team. The run game is better. The defense is playing better, and the defense should be getting Chase Young back. I know I said that last week. They held him out last week just to be sure. So the Commanders defense is getting even healthier going up against a very injury maligned offense in the Giants. And I don't, as much as it pains me to say, because I have Saquon in a very expensive fantasy football league, I don't see the Giants being able to get their run game going this week. And that's really all they have going for them. So I think I agree with what my co-host has said. I think it's going to be a low scoring game, somewhere maybe 20-19, something like that. But I have the Commanders edging this out just because they've been doing just enough to win games. And I think that trend continues this week.
I think it runs out.
All right. So who do I agree with in this situation? I'm actually going to agree with Jess in this one. So, and the main thing that I agree with that she said is I just don't fully trust the Commanders to get it done. The best thing I come up with is like, all right, the name change to a stupid name actually is helping them out. Because how many times have they tried to make these changes and it didn't work? But I agree it's just gonna be a low scoring game. I don't really have any other points to add than what everybody else said. It's gonna be a play or two. It's gonna be something. I think it's gonna be a very close, low scoring game. But I think the Giants are gonna edge this one out.
Okay. So I am recording Sammy's picks because he actually just went through and picked all of them. And see how they differ from everybody else's. Starting with this, he's the only one to pick the Patriots.
He might be onto something.
He might be. People think that the Patriots can win that game. So of course,
This is my slide to make moves, apparently. So
or fall way behind.
or fall. I mean, I gotta do something, but I mean,
Yes.
still don't believe in Marcus Mariota. And if Aaron Rodgers doesn't start, I believe in Jordan Love even less than I do him.
Listen, nobody believes in Marcus Mariota, but did you freaking see Pittsburgh last night?
Yeah, once Najee Harris got injured, they were able to move the ball better on the ground, and I think they rely more on that this week.
Pickett looked like garbage.
Well, yeah, he's got like size 5.5 hands. He can't grip the football. He's a child.
Hey, whatever helps cement me from being in last place, man, I'm okay for it.
Oh, don't worry. I'll see you in third. We'll be tied for third after this week.
And I'm pretty sure Atlanta's run defense is kind of decent, right?
Yeah, because
Not
they
their
can throw
second
all
year.
over him. Because people can throw all over him.
Yeah, but not the Steelers.
That's true. And of course, the Bears, if Justin Fields,
Bears.
I think it's going to be a close game.
Yeah, if Justin Fields starts, then it's the Bears. If it's not Justin Fields, then I will. I have set an alarm on my phone, so I don't forget, like last week, to change my pick.
All right.
But the trend with the Steelers continues. TJ Watt starts, the Steelers win. So
And of course, he picked the Jaguars. He's the only one to pick the Jaguars.
that game's complete toss-up. Big cat fight.
It really is. I think it's a letdown for the Jaguars, though, after a win, big win. All right. Split on the Washington Giants game. I'm the only one to pick the Titans. And I think it's just because the run game may be the key to beating the Eagles.
I did go back and forth on that one. That's going to be one of my last minute maybe changeovers with that one. So
Sammy is the only person to pick the Jets to beat the Vikings.
And I think to pick the Ravens.
Pick the Ravens.
The Ravens.
Yeah,
That they doing the best job.
They're doing the best job.
that is right, Sammy.
Good job, Sammy.
there you
Very
go.
good. All right, let's move on. Browns, Texans. Sammy actually picked the Texans. Maybe he's a
Jess picked the Rams.
Jessica picked the Rams.
I did. This is not a solid choice right now. Okay?
I was about to say, you give me stuff about picking the Pittsburgh Steelers, but oh my God, the Rams offense is abysmal, and
It's
Aaron
Especially
Donald
with
is
Matthew
out this
Stafford
week.
probably out.
Stafford's
Yeah, so that
out,
was the
Donald's
thing.
out, Cup's out.
That was
Robinson's
the thing.
out.
I wasn't sure if Stafford was coming back yet or not, which I'm not that I have a ton of faith in him, but I have to look at their injuries and I have to look at, but I very well might switch that.
If you don't switch that one, I will be so
Yeah.
surprised, because it's literally a JV football team going up against a team that just scored like 35 last week.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I thought you were going to say disappointed. As the only person who's not a parent, you're
No,
like, I'd be so
No,
disappointed.
I
in
can't.
you."
She's in first place. I can't say that from the cellar.
Yeah.
But I mean, come on. That I watched like 2/3 of that game before I had to turn it off because I was so bored.
Yeah.
I didn't
Because
watch
it
that
was-
game.
The Rams would drop back and they'd throw it, and it'd be like 6 yards. It was like watching Russell Wilson play again.
I didn't bring him up that time. That one wasn't me.
Of course, I'm the only one to pick the Dolphins. But that's just me. Brady, the only one to pick the Raiders.
Okay, now seriously.
And the only one to pick the Saints.
To be fair, let
Even
me-
Sammy stayed away from those.
The same.
I will Josh Jacobs had a coming out party last week.
So I think
Oh, that
Jingleheimer
Jingleheimer Schmidt.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs, Jingleheimer Schmidt put up 55
Um,
points in fantasy last week.
Isn't he questionable this week too?
He's
I mean-
probably questionable from carrying the entire team on his back last week.
I can get on board with the explosive
those.
offensive weapons that somehow
And
show
just
up.
buy to
for the
this
Raiders.
and this.
Yeah, those
But
two teams are. on
I
fire.
cannot get on board with the New Orleans Saints.
I'll buy.
I
They're
100%
not
can
playing.
because Tampa Bay can't get out of its own way this week.
Oh.
But the New
Like-
Orleans Saints can.
Okay.
Why not?
Didn't they get
At this
shut out
point, I
last
mean,
week?
Tampa
Because they
is,
have been blown out multiple times recently.
they lost by like 2 scores last week.
Oh, that's it. Just two.
They
It was
lost by
13 to nothing.
No, it was 18-0.
Okay, 18. They were in the red zone like 5 times last week, and because of San Francisco's really good defense, they were stopped. Is Tampa Bay's defense as good as San Francisco's? No shot.
All right, Brady. You enjoy that 4th place.
Oh,
Now that I have
I'm
Sammy's
coming for
picks-
you too. Don't worry.
Now that I
Once I
have-
leave Tarik in the dust, I'm coming up. This escalator to the top only goes one way, darling.
That
and it's
thing's gonna
going
stall.
straight up.
Yeah,
It
now
has
that I have
stopped.
Sammy's picks, we're gonna need picks from all the children.
Oh God.
Yeah.
We'll have a kids bracket. See how the kids do.
Yeah.
Well, mine are up because I can hear them.
That's fine.
Someone's jumping around upstairs and they should be in bed.
If you guys can get me their picks before the game start, I will write them down and keep track of that.
That's right.
I'll
Try.
ask Cooper what his picks are this week too.
There you go. Ask Cooper. If he starts agreeing with you, you know you have a problem.
Yeah.
Come here, bud. Come here.
That's who helped him with his picks this week.
My dog with 2 brain cells. Yes.
Oh,
Oops. Sorry.
Oh,
Come here.
I'm sorry.
I say
Hi,
hi,
Cannon.
Sandy.
Hey, Kenna.
All right. We're ready to close up shop. There
Yeah,
we
Rick,
go.
yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We
Don't
appreciate it. We
Don't forget to like and
yeah, like, comment,
Wow.
subscribe. Let us know who you picked. Let us know how wrong Brady is for making all those bad picks. So we can cut his hair at the end of the year.
don't worry, because Tarik says this, and then when I'm in 3rd place next week, all I'm going to talk about is how sweet his head's going to look shaved.
No.
Yeah.
Please, no.
So I forgot where I was. As always, I'm Tarik.
I'm
I'm Jessica.
I'm football Jesus.
Yeah.
for you. What's your name?
Sam.
And I'm Big Sam. And you have a great football week.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye, Sam.